Hey, Kyle's Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's AEW Dark from August 30th, 2022, and it was recorded August 21st at Orlando, Florida, Universal Studios. So we're 1 week away from the beginning of the all week long, all out festivities in Chicago, Illinois, and we'll have a stacked 13 match card tonight on Dark. But before we tackle that massive lineup, as usual on these Dark reviews, I'll take a look at and give a quick review of Hey EW with RJ City. This week's special guest is the Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli. So this should be interesting. Claudio can do some goofy things, but he hasn't much since joining AEW. So let's see if Claudio's a little more relaxed in this setting. Claudio and RJ do the Code of Honor handshake before the interview. Then RJ immediately brings up how Vince called him too Swiss without saying too Swiss or Vince. That's what he meant. That was funny. So RJ tells him to go by Claude and just drop the last name. That was also pretty funny. Claudio then does a couple bad puns that he's known for. He's famous for those bad puns. Claudio's pretty funny throughout this entire episode, and this is a great episode. I didn't write down all the jokes, but I did have a few belly laughs throughout the entire episode. Good chemistry between Claudio and RJ City. So definitely go check out this week's episode of Hey EW. You can find it on the AEW YouTube channel. So let's get into this week's episode of AEW Dark, again from August 30th, 2022. So all these matches are fairly fresh, only being 9 days old. There are 4 matches left over from the July tapings, and since they weren't on the episode tonight, maybe they'll be lost to time forever. So anyway, let's get to the show. We have 13 matches to get through. Let's hope there's some diamonds in the rough. And maybe we'll get some more storylines. Last week we had about 7 interviews after matches. But spoiler alert, we only got, I think, 1 interview out of all 13 matches. I think only 1 had an interview right after it. So, as usual, the announcers are Excalibur and Taz, and we'll start this week's Dark with Serpentico coming out. So, he's accompanied by Luther, which is good news because we saw how bad Serpentico is without Luther, and he still has Luther, and he still has an overall record of, or he has Luther usually with him, but an overall record of 13-89, which is like the worst in AEW. So, then John Silver comes out. This is going to be a huge week for John Silver and the rest of Dark Order as they got past House of Black on Friday and to advance to the semifinals of the Trios tournament this Friday on a live Rampage. So we'll see if they can get past Best Friends, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this goes. It looks like 10 might have injured his knee, so maybe Evil Uno. I think he's still in Germany. This whole video game thing in Germany lasted a while. We'll see if Evil Uno can get here, and by the time it's Friday, hopefully he will. And then maybe Alex Reynolds needs some time off because it was a little weird that it wasn't Silver and Reynolds. So anyway, Silver looks to be the healthiest member of Dark Order currently, so maybe he'll that's why he's in this match. So John Silver has a 2022 singles record of 4-1. His only loss was the CM Punk back in May. Meanwhile, Serpentico has a 2022 singles record of 1-20, getting his only win against the very tiny Vari Morales. So he's even lost to the reality Zach Clayton of all people. That's how bad of a year Serpentico's having. So Serpentico does the Dark Order hand sign on the outside of the ring, and this makes Luther freak out on him. Silver starts the match strong with a shoulder tackle and a few Beals. Then Luther gets up on the apron. Silver knocks him off, but this allows Serpentico to take control. Serpentico now wears Silver down, and he's able to cut off Silver's comeback. Serpentico's desperate for a win here. He doesn't want to get released or get to that magical 100 losses that he's vastly approaching fast. So John Silver is the first one up, and he hits some strikes and a back body drop. Then Silver is able to counter a Hurricane Rana with a sit-out power bomb. Wow, that was nice. Then Silver hits the Spin Doctor spinning slam to get the 1-2-3. So the winner of this match by pinfall, John Silver. That was a pretty good little short match here to start us off. Even with the antics from Luther and Silver, this could what was a pretty good, interesting match. So Taz and Excalibur are basically the only good things. It wasn't like that great of a match. So Taz and Excalibur made it better, as they usually do on Dark. This is the Taz and Excalibur weekly podcast that happens to have matches going on in the background. So that's a big win for Silver heading in the Rampage, where we'll see if Evil Uno gets back in time to potentially replace an injured 10. There's been no word on 10's knee injury, but it looked pretty bad on Rampage, so there might be a substitution there. So we've got a great looking matchup next between two of the fringe members of the AEW women's division. It'll be Diamante taking on Charlette Renegade. So the 22-year-old Charlette might be in over her head tonight against the tough and vicious Diamante. So Charlotte's definitely going to be looking to use twin magic to switch with her twin sister, Robyn Renegade, who will be ringside. So this is a big match for Charlette, as some people have been saying that Robyn's the better twin, but honestly, they're both 22 years old. It's too early to tell. Charlette Renegade has a 2022 singles record of 0-3, losing the Emi Sakura, Abaddon, and Sky Blue. Meanwhile, Diamante has a 2022 singles record of 8-1, so she might be close to the top 5 with a win tonight. And the only match she lost was to the top-ranked, number 1 ranked Toni Storm back in May. So Diamante's definitely going to be close to that top 5. Diamante's been wrestling since 2008, but has only wrestled 266 matches in that 14-year time period. So wrestling doesn't really seem to be the top priority in her life, and it might explain why we don't see Diamante more often. I'm pretty sure she's still dating Kiera Hogan, who's on the roster, so there is a chance Diamante travels to Dynamite sometimes with Kiera, but Diamante has not been on Dynamite since 2020 and has never been on a Rampage. So interesting there. Maybe she can get up there eventually again. So let's see if Diamante can avoid that twin magic tonight. Last time Charlette tried to switch with her twin, her hair had fallen down during the match. Robyn didn't take her hair down as well, so they got caught right away when they switched. So that happens again. If that situation comes up again, maybe Robyn has learned from that and could take her hair down. So the great Renegades Twins music hits. If you haven't heard it, go check it out on the YouTube. And yes, they've already learned from their previous mistake, because both Charlette and Robyn already have their hair down when they come out. So they learned from that mistake. Good stuff from the 22-year-olds. Diamante now comes out next looking focused, and it looks like she's taken note of the twin Robyn ringside. She'll be aware of the dangers of that. So Charlette and Diamante tie up. Diamante hits 2 arm drags in a row, and then Charlette gets off the mat, but Diamante hits a T Harris, followed by a running back elbow and a drop kick, getting a 2 count, and Charlette already is looking hurt. Diamante stays on the attack. Charlette is counters it though, gets a back elbow. Another back elbow from Diamante after that, though. This causes Charlette to grab the referee like, oh, I'm hurt. And this allows Robyn Renegade to hit a big forearm that surprises Diamante on the apron. So Robyn then makes another rookie mistake by staying on the apron a little too long to talk trash to the crowd. The referee has taken note of that. Robyn was on the apron. So Charlette now wears Diamante down after getting that advantage from her sister, and the referee's basically looking right at Robyn as Robyn takes another cheap shot. So wow, another rookie mistake here, because Robyn probably is supposed to do something later, so the referee couldn't just kick her out or stop the match. So right after that, so that's totally botched. Robyn needs to be paying attention. If the she'll make everyone look stupid if she's taking cheap shots in front of the referee when she's supposed to do something later, so he can't kick her out. Anyway, another botch right after that happens as Diamante tries to hit a middle rope. It was either supposed to be a T Harris or a Hurricane Rana, but we'll never find out, because Charlette just falls backward right away, and Diamante kind of lands on her head hard. So it was a botch, but Charlette basically just lost balance. Still not very good, and this match has fallen apart between that and Robyn just hitting strikes in front of the referee and not getting kicked out. So holy crap. Diamante fires up like for real, because she's mad for falling on her head, and hits big strikes and 2 German suplexes on Charlette. But then the third German is interrupted by Robyn, who's up on the apron. Remember, she couldn't get kicked out because she was supposed to be doing this. Robyn then goes to punch Diamante, but she hits her twin sister Charlette on accident, and I guess the referee didn't see that, or just the whole match is falling apart. Robyn really needs to make sure the referee isn't looking right at her during that cheap shot earlier. It made everyone look stupid. They're only 22 years years old, but you got to learn from these things. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. Anyway, Diamante hits a third German after that, followed by the Code Red, getting the 1-2-3. So the winner of this match by pinfall is Diamante, but that was terrible. If I was the referee, I would have just kicked Robyn out right away and told Diamante just win the match with like normal without that whole Robyn interference at the end, because Robyn was caught red-handed. The referee should have either disqualified or kicked her out. Did nothing. She got caught. She shouldn't have been doing it, like when the referee's looking, if she's supposed to do something later. Anyway, at least Diamante didn't get hurt during the botch also within the match. That's good, but hopefully the Renegade twins can keep learning. They already showed us they learned from their last mistake where they both had their hair down to start the match. So I expect they'll learn from this as well. Anyway, now the Jericho Appreciation Society intro music hits, and it goes into the 2.0 music. So Cool Hand Angelo Parker comes out, accompanied by the star of Evolution, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard. So it's weird that these guys have not really been teaming up recently. It's almost been 2 months since they've had a 2-on-2 match together. Angelo won his last match, which was also a singles match, his only singles match ever in AEW. So Cool Hand Ange defeated Cameron Stewart in less than 2 minutes. So he's going to be looking to get another quick win tonight, as him and Daddy Magic prepare to take on Hook sometime soon for the FTW title. His opponent already in the ring is Gus de la Vega, also known as Gino Medina from MLW Major League Wrestling, and I think he's even dated NXT's Roxanne Perez in the past. Both were trained by Booker T, and they came up through Booker T's promotion, ROW Reality of Wrestling, where Gus, or Gino, however you want to call him, was the ROW champion 3 times for a total of 707 days. So Gus de la Vega has a singles record in 2022 of 0-1 in AEW, losing to the number 2 ranked Powerhouse Hobbs back in February on Dark. So Angelo Parker starts the match with a lariat, hits an impaler DDT, and gets the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Cool Hand Angelo Parker. And then Parker says into the camera, "Send Hook. Taz, I know you can hear me. Send him." And then the segment ends with Taz laughing an evil laugh, knowing that Hook will probably destroy him later on. So it actually took me about 10 to 15 times longer to write the preview for that match than the actual match. Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of how it takes me longer to actually write the previews for these matches pretty much every single time I write the previews, and it takes me longer than the actual matches. But this match, holy crap, was it short. But the point was, the story here is that Cool Hand Ange and Daddy Magic want to show that they can win Hook just quickly, just like Hook, to set up their match. Probably, I'm guessing that'll happen at the All Out pre-show, and I don't know if it's going to be a handicap, a triple threat, just 2 separate singles matches. Like, I don't know how that's going to work, but we actually do get an interview segment with Cool Hand Ange and Daddy Magic later on. So we'll talk about that more later. So coming out next, representing the baddies, is Kiera Hogan, who has a 2022 singles record of 5-2. She lost to Athena and fellow baddie Red Velvet, who's unfortunately still out injured. So Kiera Hogan bounced back from her loss to Athena on Rampage in June with a win over Allie Rex in her last match in July. She's been in tag matches ever since with the other baddies, Jade Cargill and Layla Gray, ever since. Kiera is going to want to get this match over with quickly so that she can be super healthy to watch Jade Cargill's back this week before Jade has to defend the TBS title against a very angry Athena at All Out Sunday. So Kiera Hogan's opponent already in the ring is Mylo Matters, and she's a 3-year pro from Virginia. Mylo has had 1 match in AEW before losing the Diamante on Dark at the beginning of the year. Mylo's been working over on the West Coast recently and has been feuding with Scorpio Sky's wife, Alex Garcia, for the last few months. Kiera and Mylo tie up to start the match. Mylo gets a headlock takeover, but Kiera counters it into a head scissors. Once they're back up, Mylo gets another headlock applied and moves into getting wrist control. Kiera then slams Mylo down to get out of this. Kiera then hits big strikes in the corner. Mylo evades a running corner attack, but Kiera blocks a monkey flip attempt and then hits another big strike, getting a 2 count. Kiera then picks Mylo up and is talking trash. This fires up Mylo, but Kiera counters a corner running attack. Then Kiera hits a hip attack, a sliding drop kick, both in the corner. Before Mylo can even get up, Kiera hits her in the head with a big roundhouse kick for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Kiera Hogan, who definitely looks fired up for that big win. And no interviews from Tony Schiavone so far, but at least that match was decent. It has not been a very good Dark so far. That little match there between Kiera Hogan and Mylo, probably the best one. So let's see if it gets a little bit better. As next, it'll be a 6-man tag as the Trustbusters now come out with freaking VSK as their damn trust butler, renamed Jeeves K. I still can't believe VSK agreed to do this. What possibly good can come from being the trust butler Jeeves K? It looks like he's like agreeing to be Doink the Clown. The problem here is when Matt Bourne agreed to be Doink the Clown, he was at the end of his career. VSK is still young and promising, and now he's going to be like the new Virgil. Like, you know how that ruined Virgil's career, the rest of his career. But the thing with Virgil is he was never good to begin with. VSK is good, so I don't know what he's doing. Being the Trustbusters Trust Butler, Jeeves K, just ridiculous. Anyway, it'll be the same trio tonight in the match that we've been seeing: Ari Daivari, Slim J, and Parker Boudreaux, which is a little bit disappointing because Sonny Kiss is also there with them, and Sonny Kiss should be in this match for like Slim J or something, or get Jeeves K in the ring where he belongs and out of this Butler outfit. So the the Trustbusters failed to get out of their first round trios match, where now they're looking to get into the first ever top 5 of the trios rankings, which will come out this next Wednesday after All Out, after the first ever champions are announced. So crowned, I should say. So the Trustbusters are 2-1 in trios matches in 2022, and maybe that explains why they're using this particular lineup, because the Trustbusters are trying to get into the very first top 5 rankings of the trios rankings when they come out a week from today. So their opponents already in the ring are Tyshaun, Perez, Logan, Cruz, and Hermano. And then Logan and Tyshaun, we have seen team up before, losing to Ari Daivari and Slim J. So they know they're in trouble because now they couldn't get past those two, and now they have Parker Boudreaux with them as well. Meanwhile, Logan and Tyshaun, they don't bring a big guy in. They have a 5'5" small high flyer named Hermano. So not good news for them. Hermano's making his AEW debut. He's only been wrestling for a year, mostly for the Daily Wrestling promotion, which I've never heard of. And he's wearing a mask, and he's, like I said, he's small. The biggest guy on the team, so the hope he can fight Parker Boudreaux is Hands of Stone Logan Cruz. He's 23 years old, 6 foot tall, and has a boxing background. So Taz hilariously finds a way to bring up Ryan Nemeth so that he could make fun of JR for saying Nemeth on Dynamite. That's hilarious. So Ari Daivari is going to start this match with Tyshaun Perez. Tyshaun ducks under 2 attacks, but then Ari Daivari hits a big knee strike to the gut. Slim J tags in, and they hit a double team vertical suplex on Perez. Then Slim J mounts him on the mat for some punches. Back on their feet, Slim applies a headlock and hits a shoulder tackle. Slim J then hits a nice looking T Harris and another shoulder tackle. Slim J is fired up and he rips off his tank top, but Perez is able to hit an enziguri kick and tag in Hands of Stone Logan Cruz. But Parker Boudreaux also tags in. The 2 biggest guys from each team are in there, but Cruz is much smaller than the big, massive Parker Boudreaux, who takes out Cruz and then throws Perez and Hermano in the ring, hitting corner splashes on all 3 men, then throwing all 3 in the same corner, hitting another stinger splash. Slim J now gets up on the top rope. He didn't even tag in, and Parker's holding Hermanos so that Slim can hit a top rope reverse DDT. That looked all right, but Slim almost kicks his own partner Parker in the head during that dive. Parker had the duck under it, which showed that he does have some good in-ring awareness. Parker then picks up Slim and, like a powerbomb position. We've seen this before, though. He helps Slim J hit sliced bread number 2 on Tyshaun Perez. Ari Daivari's now up on the top rope, also hasn't tagged in, and he hits the flying carpet splash on Perez. They kick Perez out of the ring. Then Parker hits his finisher, the big side slam on Logan Cruz for the 1-2-3. The winners of this match by pinfall, the Trustbusters. So that was a little bit weird. Like, why didn't they use quick tags to do the double team? Yet again, they make the referee look like an idiot with all these double and triple teams and staying in the ring forever without any tags. And it was the same referee who looked like a fool in the Charlette Diamante match. So not a good night for that referee, but the match was fine. It was probably more exciting than anything else we've seen so far. But again, no interview after. There's no new character development with Sonny Kiss and the Trust Butler Jeeves case. So that was kind of a waste of time, to be honest. Just the way to get probably the Trustbusters are going to be able to get in the top 5 of the trios rankings with that win when the first ever trios rankings come out next week. And at least also it gets Parker Boudreaux some more experience. But yeah, let's just move on. Now the lights go out, and when they come back on, Julia Hart is on the entrance ramp. So here we go again. I keep complaining about all these short matches Julia Hart has where she doesn't take any bumps. But I am starting to come around to maybe why they did it, because we saw last night Julia's getting, after all these ton of short matches in a short period of time, it really has improved Julia Hart's move set. So we saw last night in Elevation, Julia hit some of the best moves of her career and is adding and evolving her moveset as she goes here. So meanwhile, let's see if Julia Hart finally takes a bump tonight, because she needs to start working on that as well. Julia's been undefeated since she joined the House of Black, raising her 2022 singles record to 13-3. So Julia might be getting close to a top 5 in the rankings. Earlier this year, before joining the House of Black, she lost to Jade Cargill in a TBS title match, Hikaru Shida in an Owen Hart tournament qualifier, and she lost to Chris Statlander as well. But Julia Hart has won her last 10 matches, all of which have been on Dark or Elevation. While Julia's developed her new character, moveset, and her general look and how she does her matches. So pretty good stuff. I'm coming around to why they did it this way. So her opponent, Julia Hart's opponent, already in the ring is Vickie Dreamboat, who has a 2022 singles record of 0-2. However, I couldn't find on the database who those were against. But I did find that Vickie Dreamboat just this last week was at the Nightmare Factory Showcase, where Vickie defeated Robyn Renegade. So there must be some. Vickie is Dreamboat clearly being trained by either QT Marshall or Dustin Rhodes, and she must have something going for her for them to have her beat Robyn Renegade. So I'm excited to see how she does tonight, and hopefully Julia Hart can finally take a bump for once. So Vickie Dreamboat has some massive caterpillar eyebrows, and then Taz makes fun of her because her name sounds like Ricky Steamboat, which is hilarious. So she's catching strays from me and Taz left and right. Vickie Dreamboat, unlucky. So they tie up and they break right away. Vickie goes to tie up again, but Julia gets a go behind, and then Vickie reverses it in the getting waist control. They reset again, and well, will you look at this? And a wrestling match is actually broken out in a Julia Hart match. So right after that, Julia hits some strikes and a back elbow, taking Vickie Dreamboat down. Then Vickie gets hit hard into the turnbuckle. Julia hits some strikes in the corner and has to be pulled back by the referee, and Julia almost attacks the referee. She was so mad about that. But this allows Vickie Dreamboat to hit a Russian leg sweep, and holy crap, after months of not taking bumps, Julia Hart finally takes a bump. Will you give her a round of applause? But I am being a little facetious. I explained why I do like what they've been doing with it makes sense. So anyway, Julia then rolls out of the ring and pulls Dreamboat out with her. Vickie then blocks a step shot, and look at this. Julia Hart's face gets hit into the steps. Good stuff here, learning how to take bumps and stuff. So back in the ring, Julia hits a big kick and a sliding lariat. That looked pretty good. Julia says the house always wins. Then she applies the Heartless Lock, and that forces Vickie Dreamboat to tap out. So the winner of this match by submission, Julia Hart. So great stuff. And maybe AEW recognized that the 20-year-old Julia Hart needed a lot of training and a lot of work. And they basically took her back to the basics these last few months, having quick 1 minute, 2 minute matches where she can work on her moveset. She hasn't taken any bumps, but now she's taking bumps in this match. So if Julia really was that bad, or not bad, but she needed to go back to the basics, develop her look, her entrance, the ring gear has been updated. Now she's got her new music. So these like 3 months of these little 2 minute squash matches for Julia where she doesn't take bumps, I have been on these reviews kind of complaining about them, saying, well, once you put her in a regular match, she's not going to be good because she hasn't been taking bumps or having competitive matches. But I see what they were doing. Julia has now updated her move set. She's got a cool finisher. Her music is awesome. Her gear was updated to look even better, along with a in-ring style with kind of like the original Undertaker, that's slow and methodical. So pretty good stuff. They went back to the drawing board, started from scrap, and which is a good idea for someone who's only 20 years old. So great stuff there. Now we get an interview segment here. And in the back with Lexi Nair, the interviewer is Cool Hand Angelo Parker and Daddy Magic Matt Menard. So Angelo Parker says, While we're here, Lexi, let me ask you a question. How long was that match? Daddy Magic interrupts her and says, let me answer that. I had my stopwatch, 17 seconds. Angelo says, let me ask you another question. On Rampage, when Hook beat Zach Clayton, how long was that match? Daddy Magic interrupts again and says, 27 seconds. Angelo says, Hook, you've got our attention. I can't stand here and not say that Hook's not phenomenal, but everyone wants to send Hook. Please send Hook. Daddy Magic then says, the world wants to know, are you a tough guy or are you a pretty boy? That hair's not the hair of a tough guy. What if we stole your hair gel? What would you do then? Angelo then says, and while we're stealing things, what if we took the FTW title? Lexi almost starts laughing because 2.0 are hilarious. Daddy Magic saying, what if? What if? At the end, and then the segment ends. So what a great love these guys. And I was saying it last night because Daddy Magic's been stealing the show on Elevation with his commentary. Daddy Magic has a job in wrestling for years and years and years. He could be a manager, he could be a commentator, and he could be like the GM or the on-screen authority. Like he could do it all, man. So I think we'll see Matt Menard in wrestling for a long time, which is a good news. So great news as the incredibly great looking and powerful Kayla Rossi now comes out, accompanied by her manager Diamond Sheik. So Kayla Rossi spent a few months back in the day, or like a year ago, as Joey Janela's bodyguard when Joey Janela was feuding with his former partner Sonny Kiss. But when Joey Janela left, we did not see Kayla Rossi for a long time, which made me a little bit sad because she's got a really unique, sexy bodybuilder look. So Kayla Rossi did make her return a few weeks ago on Dark, and she was ready to wrestle for their first time ever in her career. So Kayla looked all right for it being her first match, but she was super stiff, and it looked like she was going to hurt her opponent with her massive amounts of strength because Kayla Rossi is like got a bodybuilder body. So her opponent tonight, Vipress, might be in trouble tonight. Vipress is also one of the best looking women in wrestling, so this is certainly a hot looking matchup. Vipress can definitely gonna take a beating, so hopefully she can handle that. Kayla Rossi is 1-0 in AEW. Vipress is 0-2 in singles matches in 2022, having lost the Red Velvet and Diamante towards the beginning of the year. So Vipress has only wrestled 4 matches in the 6 months since that last AEW match. But like I said, that's way more matches than Kayla Rossi's entire career. However, Kayla Rossi is a physical and athletic freak. So this is going to be a tough one. Vipress is a 5-year pro from California. Her nickname is the Serpent of Evil, and maybe Vipress could join Chaos Project with a name like that. Or if you heard me on last night's Elevation review, I could definitely see Vipress joining Julia Hart. I was just talking about how Julia Hart kind of needs a lackey of her own so that Julia can have tag matches, because Julia Hart hasn't had a tag match in all of 2022 because she's got like this loner character. But I do think she could benefit and learn a lot, the 20-year-old Julia Hart, if she had tag matches. So if she had some kind of lackey, and Vipress would be the perfect person, then they can actually have tag matches, and Vipress can lose those matches if they don't want Julia to get beat or if they don't want him to win. Anyway, um, currently she's a loner, and that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So anyway, if Vipress can get out of this match with an injury, that's for sure, because Kayla Rossi's only in her second match ever, and she's a bodybuilder with massive power. So they tie up, and then Kayla uses her massive power advantage to shove Vipress down right away. Kayla Rossi then does a cartwheel just to show off. Then Kayla Rossi hits a scoop slam and then kind of seems confused about what to do next. She just stands there. Vipress then counters a move, but she gets destroyed by a huge shoulder tackle. And Kayla then again looks confused. What's going on here? So she lifts Vipress up on her shoulders, hitting a Samoan drop. Kayla Rossi nips up and hits a standing moonsault for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Kayla Rossi. Well, Kayla didn't make any botches, and it's clear as day. Somebody told her to slow down after her first match, but Kayla slowed down, but they didn't tell her what to do when you slowed down. So she just stood there looking confused. But it looks like she's someone that's going to take directive. You're just going to have to spell out every little detail. You can't just tell her, slow down. You got to tell her, all right, slow down, work, pump the bicep, look over at the crowd and yell at them. And, like, don't just stand there like you're looking confused. So anyway, it was only Kayla Rossi's second ever match. Nothing too bad. And she wasn't in her first match. I was actually kind of scared she was going to hurt her opponent. I think it was Avery Bro. So Luckily, that didn't happen for Vipress, so that's good. And then one thing that was weird though, this Kayla Rossi's manager, Diamond Sheik, who I think he talked last time, didn't say a word, and we just moved on to the next thing. So Kayla Rossi, only her second match. She currently has no story, no character. So just a very bare bones, but she has a great look. Like she could be a star. So we move on to a team who has not been having a good time recently, as out next comes the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. So first they lost their cheerleader, who was like a little sister to them, when Julia Hart lost her mind when Malachi spit his black mist in her face, causing Julia Hart to eventually join the House of Black. Since then, the Blondes haven't been able to get anything going, and they lost their last match 2 weeks ago on Dynamite to the Gun Club in 31 seconds, which is very embarrassing for the young team, Varsity Blondes, who might not be able to survive a team if things keep going this way, because I think they'll ultimately start blaming each other for why they're losing. Another loss might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and the Varsity Blondes are going to be looking to win this one. They have a 5-5 tag team record in 2022, but all 5 wins have been on Dark. Anytime they've been on Dynamite in front of a larger audience, they have been losing. Their opponents already in the ring is Dean Alexander and Rosario Grillo, who we last saw team up last week on Dark, losing to the Workhorsemen. So they've also lost a trios match together the night before that on Elevation to Death Triangle. Dean Alexander's from Kansas City, and he seems to be friends with Captain Sean Dean and Charlie Bravo, who are also on the roster. Varsity Blondes are looking angry and full of business after their last embarrassing display on national TV. So Brian Pillman and Jr. and Rosario Grillo are going to start this match. Brian gets wrist control, but Grillo nips up and flips out to reverse it. Brian does the same, but it was a little more flashy. Brian then is able to hit a spear and mounts him for punches. Griff Garrison runs in, and he takes down Dean Alexander, who had run in as well, with more punches on the ground. Now they both leave the ring while Brian hits more strikes. Griff Garrison tags in, and the Blondes hit some nice double teams here, and they're looking all business tonight. They then knock Dean Alexander off the apron, and the Blondes hit another double team on Grillo to get the 1-2-3. Wow. The winners of this match by pinfall, the Varsity Blondes, and that was very, very direct and aggressive, all business version of the Varsity Blondes, and it definitely looks like they're trying to evolve to get better. You love to see it. Hopefully they can get their act together and become a great team, because like I said, if they had lost this match tonight, they were probably done as a team. They would start to blame each other as being the weak link, and you know how that would quickly just break down into them not being a team anymore. Instead, they knuckled down, they took it serious, no frills, no spills, no nothing. They just went out there and did their work, and good job. But like I've said, I think they're undefeated on Dark. So the Dark matches haven't been a problem, but this does show that they've been evolving. So good stuff there. Now Dante Martin comes out for another singles match. He picked up a win last night on Elevation against Wes Barkley. So Dante Martin is 13-8 in singles matches in 2022, which is way more singles matches than anyone would have expected, having, what is that, 21 singles matches this year? This will be the 22nd. Even Dante Martin himself had to have figured he wouldn't have had this many singles matches, as he had planned on teaming with his brother Darius Martin for the tag team of Top Flight. However, Darius Martin has 2 different injuries this year, so Dante's looking to get back in the top 5. Remember, he got all the way to the point where he got a world title shot against Hangman Page at one point earlier this year. Dante's bounced back nicely, winning 2 straight after he lost 2 straight matches right before that. And then, holy crap, in the ring already is A.R. Fox. Banger match alert, banger match alert. Holy crap, this should be interesting. This is a great match for Dante Martin to grow as a wrestler against a great trainer and veteran wrestler, A.R. Fox, who, despite being amazing and still in his prime at 34 years old, has only had 6 matches in the last 2 years. Not like 2 years cumulatively, as in the last like 700 days. So wow, AR Fox has definitely found more passion in training people, and I think Swerve Strickland was even trained by AR Fox. But if he wasn't trained, they at least had one of the best matches together in Lucha Underground history, when they were known as Killshot and Dante Fox. So if you know how good the matches were in Lucha Underground, you know that was a big deal to be regarded as one of the best matches. If you've never seen Swerve Strickland as Killshot and AR Fox as Dante Fox from Lucha Underground, definitely go find that match. So this is a teachable moment for the young 21-year-old phenom. Dante Martin against a trainer still in his prime who's known for his high flying abilities. Dante Martin also a high flyer, so this is going to be a great match for him to grow. AR Fox made his AEW debut last month on Elevation, losing in a trios match against Angelico and Private Party. So this is going to be a good one. The crowd is already chanting both men's names as they trade headlocks and shoulder tackles at the beginning. AR Fox then flips over the ropes, but Dante flips off the apron, and that was really good. That was awesome looking. Great stuff. Back in the ring, they both get knocked down and nip up at the same time, and this is a definite mirror match if I've ever seen one. Two guys that are basically almost the exact same. It's just Fox is the older veteran version of Dante Martin. It's like he's taking on his past self, or Dante's taking on his future self. So Dante then hits some strikes in the corner, but Fox reverses it. Then Fox flips over and around Dante and tries and trips the leg, I should say, and then rolls through and hitting a corkscrew brainbuster. That was undescribably amazing. I couldn't put in the words how great that was from AR Fox, from the trip to rolling through, and then he rolled through so that he brought Dante up with him, then hit a nice corkscrew brainbuster. AR Fox is so damn good. It's a shame that he's only from the years of 32 to 34. He's only had 6 matches. I know he's doing great work for the business by training all these youngsters, but really, I would love to see Dante in the ring more often. It's just a shame. So anyway, Dante now hits a vertical suplex, but he's still hurting from that earlier corkscrew brainbuster. Dante fires up now and hitting a shoulder tackle, and Dante's using his agility now to flip around Fox like Fox did earlier. Dante goes up to the top rope, hitting a crossbody for a 2 count. AR Fox then uses back elbows to block Dante's new finisher, and Fox hits a springboard Spanish fly. Wow. He follows that with a 450 splash off the top rope, but somehow Dante Martin finds the heart and fire inside the kick out. That looked like it was about to be over with. Dante now hits an up kick to take control and hits a double springboard moonsault. He calls the nosedive, and that gets the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Dante Martin. And wow, even though that was a little too short, what we got was elite, high level, high flying. Wow, I hope these two can have another match on Rampage or Dynamite and steal whatever show they're on in a 10-minute match. Also, please run back Swerve against AR Fox. That you just throw that on a Dynamite and everyone will freak out, man. I'm telling you. Great stuff there. One of the definite matches you need to check out from this Dark is AR Fox against Dante Martin. Not a very long match, but what you'll get in that short match is some high elite level, high flying. Go watch AR Fox, Dante Martin. Only a short match, well worth your time. So we move on to the next one as Brock Anderson comes out, accompanied by his father, Arn Anderson. And we saw Brock pick up his first ever AEW singles win 2 weeks ago on Dark against Serpentico. So Brock Anderson has a 1-1 singles record in 2022. And that was only Brock's 4th ever singles match, and or this one right now is Brock's only ever 4th match, because Brock Anderson's only had 32 matches in his 15-month career. So Brock Anderson is shown to be a natural in the ring, which doesn't always happen to second generation wrestlers. So I'm excited to watch the 25-year-old Brock Anderson's career develop for sure. His opponent in the ring already is Tyson Maddox, who's 11 years older than Brock, but has only had 40 more matches. So this one might be a little bit messy. They're both inexperienced. Tyson Maddox has only had 1 match in AEW back in December of 2020. So I don't even remember it. It was a tag loss to the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver. So Tyson Maddox is absolutely jacked. So Brock Anderson's definitely going to have to be careful with him. Brock gets wrist control right away and hits a nice-looking standing leg drop on the arm, and that looked really painful. Tyson is now down, hurting while Brock attacks his arm even more. Tyson gets up, hits a bad-looking drop kick, the feet barely hit above the waistline. Not good there. So Tyson then hits a better-looking corner lariat, and then Tyson makes me, Taz, and Excalibur all laugh out loud with a really weird version of the Jackie Fargo strut. That was awesome. Bring Tyson Maddox back for that. Just tell him to keep that drop kick out of his arsenal. Brock Anderson is able to take advantage of the Fargo strut and hitting the AA spinebuster for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Brock Anderson. So wow, that definitely plays into the whole story here about how Arn Anderson is mad at Dustin Rhodes because on Rampage, Dustin did not capitalize on an accidental low blow in an ROH world title match against Claudio Castagnoli. because Dustin didn't want to win a world title that way. So this isn't exactly the same, but Brock Anderson is showing just a few days later that he will listen to what Arn Anderson is saying, and Brock quickly capitalizing on an opening to end the match. Like I said, it's a guy dancing at this. It isn't quite the same as an accidental low blow in a world title match, but the story's still there, especially because Excalibur was talking about how Arn was mad at Dustin during the match. So I love little storyline things like that. And maybe we'll see Brock Anderson turning heel soon. Maybe he'll attack Dustin for being too weak, and Arn would just turn heel with his son and keep managing him. So that might be something we could see in the near future. Keep an eye out for that. So next, it'll be a tag match as the Workhorsemen now come out. It'll be Anthony Henry and JD Drake, who are 1-5 as a tag team in 2022, but they finally broke the snide and got their first win last week on Dark. So maybe things are looking up. The Workhorsemen, if they can pick up a few wins, gain some momentum, maybe they'll even get a title shot by the end of the year. So their opponents already in the ring is the team of Manny Lowe and Oliver Sawyer. We saw Manny Lowe make his AEW debut last week on Dark and losing a tag match to the Iron Savages, which is the new name for Bear Country. Manny Lowe had a different partner for that match, but Manny was in a four-way match 3 days ago against his partner tonight, Oliver Sawyer, that Oliver won in that match. They are also in the same three-way match a few weeks ago at the Jimmy Valiant Boogie Woogie Man 80th birthday extravaganza, where Oliver also won that match. So Oliver made his debut also on last week's Dark, losing in a tag match to Josh Woods and Tony Nese. So let's see if Oliver and Manny have good chemistry because they know each other, or do they still have heat from the matches they've been having recently? uh, including just 3 days ago in FSPW. So Anthony Henry and Manny Lowe are going to start the match. Henry hits some massive strikes and takes Manny down right away. JD now tags in, and the Workhorsemen hit a double team. JD's looking for some massive. He hits massive strikes now, and Manny is about half the size and half the age as JD Drake. JD then hits a scoop slam and a Kokeshi headbutt drop of all things. Taz even called him out, saying shades of Maki Ito. That was funny. So Manny is stuck in the Workhorseman's corner now, eating more big shots. Anthony Henry now tags in, getting a snapmare takeover and hitting a stiff kick to Manny's back, who somehow is not out of it yet. Manny fights back out of the corner and rolls through to tag in Oliver Sawyer, who comes in, drop kicking JD on the apron, but it doesn't even knock JD off the apron because he's a big guy, and Oliver's not very big. So Oliver Sawyer then hits a jawbreaker on Henry. JD comes back in the ring now, hitting a suplex on Oliver Sawyer. Henry then follows that up with a nasty meteor in the corner. JD then hits a cannonball senton in the corner right after. Henry follows that with a top rope double stomp. Then Henry runs over and knocks Manny Lowe off the apron and kicks him while doing a penalty kick on the apron. All this while JD Drake had gone up to the top rope, and he hits a 300-pound moonsault on Oliver Sawyer for the 1-2-3. The winners of this match by pinfall, the Workhorsemen. Wow, that ending flurry was one of the best finishes of the night so far. That was fantastic. Workhorsemen show that they can do like all that great stuff that the Dark Order and Best Friends do. So that's great to see here. And it was so good that Tony Schiavone finally comes out to interview someone. Tony Schiavone says something about JD being splitting his time between the Workhorsemen and the Wingmen. So here we go with some high drama stuff here. JD Drake says, listen, I love my wingmen. They've been good to me, but I had to take a moment of self-reflection, and I called my brother, perhaps one of the best pro wrestlers on the planet. So now what you're looking at are two men who are possessed and obsessed with success. Failure is not an option. Anthony Henry then says, I came along because I was sick and tired of seeing what JD was doing. I don't mind the wingmen. Go and have your fun now and then. But I know that the real JD Drake, the one you saw tonight, is better than that. Both men then say, we're going to punch in, punch out. We're the Workhorsemen. Then they leave the big cheers from the crowd. So that's big news for JD Drake, because everything that was said there was basically true, because JD had fallen in a really bad spot. The Workhorsemen had been losing every match. The wingmen have been losing every match, and JD kind of looked like the only one who had a chance out of the entire group. So what does this mean for the wingmen now? They do have their secret weapon, Cesar Bononi, who's jacked and a big guy, and they've been trying hard to train him. However, I'm not sure if Cesar Bononi will ever be ready, because he's in his mid-30s now and really hasn't improved much since we first saw him years ago in NXT. So the wingmen might be in trouble of getting released, which is part of the reason Anthony Henry wanted to get JD Drake far away from them before that happens, because everyone can kind of see that the wingmen are on the verge of being released. All right, out next is the interim baddie, Layla Gray, and it seems like Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan have been maybe a little more accepting of Layla being in an interim baddie role, which is good news for Layla because the person who brought her in, Stokely Hathaway, has kind of been a little busy lately rounding up his new men's stable that has Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, and the Gun Club in it, which we haven't seen debut, and I hope we do sometime during this week. Anyway, Layla Gray is 1-6 in AEW singles matches in 2022. Layla just lost her OVW women's title over the weekend. So that might mean that Layla Gray is close to being signed full-time because they took the belt offer from OVW, where Layla Gray was a regular for the last few years. Her opponent already in the ring is Renee Michelle, who has a singles record of 0-2 in 2022. She's had one match against Layla Gray before back in December for the Shine promotion, where Renee Michelle got the win. So let's see how this match goes. They lock up, and Renee gets a waist lock and then transition to a wrist control. So then she takes Layla down. Layla gets up and gets a nice back trip. Layla then hits a hip attack in the corner and a snap suplex for a 2 count. Layla hits some strikes. Then Renee Michelle tries a sliding kick that we saw her do in her last match. It didn't look good then, and now it completely misses, and it also looked like crap even if it did hit it. So definitely, if Renee Michelle is listening, get that move out of your arsenal. It doesn't look good. Renee then follows that with a slow motion spinning thrust kick. Wow, was that bad? Renee then hits a forearm. That was a little better. Then she hits a decent looking missile drop kick off the top rope. Kind of came down like a sack of potatoes though. And then maybe it's just, I don't know what's going on. But Renee then hits a back heel kick that also looked terrible. Wow. Really bad stuff here. Layla kicks out, then goes on the attack. She hits a running strike and a spinning DDT, and then a super contrived finish here with Layla countering an attack in slow motion and then hitting an X Factor facebuster for the 1-2-3. Winner of this match by pinfall, Layla Gray, and holy crap, was that match bad. It's man, that was really bad. So, why does Renee Michelle do so many kicks when every single one of them looks terrible and nothing clicked in this match? And sadly, it was given more length than some of the other ones. Why couldn't we get a few more minutes of AR Fox against Dante Martin? Wow. So, anyway, the main event is next, and it looks like a good one. So, we'll just move on. Big match here as Rush from La Facción Ingobernables will take on All Heart Blake Christian. So this should be a great clash of styles. And if it's anything close to the Dragon Lee match against Rush that we saw at ROH Death Before Dishonor, we could easily be looking at the match of the night, which this is an important match for both men, but probably more important for Blake Christian, who's looking to get signed full time. Blake Christian has an AEW of singles record of 2-3. All 5 of his matches in AEW have been singles matches, and all have happened in this year. So and also all have been on Dark. Rush, anyway, he's new to AEW, but he's close to 1,500 matches in his career. Rush is going to be the favorite to win this one based off his experience alone, let alone the size advantage. So Rush is 1-1 in singles matches in AEW. He beat Penta, but he lost his AEW World Title match to Jon Moxley. The Dragon Lee match did not count toward his records as that was an ROH match. So let's see how this match goes. Blake Christian comes out first. Universal Studios crowd loves him as Blake is a regular on Dark. Rush then comes out with an awesome bold mask, then takes it off because La Facción Ingobernables hates masks, but apparently only during matches because Rush and Andrade both wear a mask during their entrance. Or maybe they just like taking masks off so much that they just want to take a mask off during their entrance, even if it's their own. So Rush then uses his size advantage right away, but Blake is able to use his agility advantage to evade some attacks and hit a Hurricane Rana. But don't forget, Rush comes from Mexico. He's going to be very familiar with Blake's Lucha Libre style. Rush then slides out of the ring and evades a baseball slide, and Rush hits a big punch, then throws Blake hard into the barricade twice. Blake was launching himself into the barricade. That looked fantastic and painful. So Rush gets stopped from using the ring cables, cables ringside by Jose the assistant, who's out here as well, accompanying Rush. He didn't want Rush to get a disqualification. So Rush rolls Blake Christian back in the ring and paintbrushes the head, which fires up Blake. However, Rush just takes him right back down and hits 2 nasty chops in the corner, and those looked really devastating. Rush then fakes doing his bull's horn dropkick and instead kicks Blake right in the face. That looked stiff. So Rush then does the tranquilo pose, and the crowd starts chanting his name instead, turning on Blake real quick. They found someone they liked better. So Blake then counters the next attack and hits a 619 from the bottom rope. That looks pretty cool. Blake then hits a nice top rope drop kick, making Rush roll out of the ring. Blake then dives through the ropes on the Rush. Then he does it again, and then on a third time, but this one it was a beautiful Fosbury flap over the top rope. That was a great sequence from Blake Christian, who the first one went under the middle and bottom rope. The second one went through the two top ropes, and the third one goes over the top. Awesome stuff there. And if this has you kind of thinking about, ooh, what about a Blake Christian AR Fox match? Well, that match actually did happen earlier this year at a GCW event, which I actually saw that, even though I'm not a fan of GCW, a little bit too much hardcore nonsense for me. But anyway, I did watch that match because it was on the Joey Janela spring break events over the WrestleMania weekend. And AR Fox and Blake Christian obviously was awesome. So back to this really good main event match. Blake Christian rolls Rush back in the ring and hits a springboard 450 splash. Rush is just barely able to kick out of this one. Blake then goes up to the top rope and tries another 450, but Rush gets able to get back up and hit a headbutt in midair on a 450 something. I don't know what it was, if it was supposed to be a splash, but Rush was already standing. I don't know, but either way, if you get past the contrived part of it, where why was he doing a 450? Maybe he just thought Rush was still going to be on the ground. But anyway, absolutely wild to even attempt, let alone pull off a headbutt in midair on a 450. That was awesome and definitely worthy of the All Elite name. That was elite level wrestling, unlike some of these damn matches we've seen on this episode of Dark, like the Renee Michelle Layla Gray match. That was far, far, far from elite. That was garbage. So Rush now hits a running elbow strike and the bull's horn shotgun drop kick, and he gets the 1-2-3 because there was no coming back from Blake getting headbutted during a 450 splash. That was ridiculous. So the winner of this match by pinfall is Rush. So what a match. Definitely go watch this one and the Dante Martin AR Fox match. Both matches combined will probably take you around 10-15 minutes, not very long, and you well worth your time to watch them. Otherwise, there wasn't a whole lot. The Renee Michelle Layla Gray and the Diamante Charlette Renegade match were abysmal. There was some abysmal matches on tonight's card, nowhere near worthy of the elite name. But it was nice to see the Workhorsemen getting a second win in a row and cutting a promo basically saying that JD Drake's done horsing around, no pun intended, with the Wingmen. So we also saw Brock Anderson. That was a nice little match with the Tyson Maddox doing the Fargo strut. That was a funny spot. Definitely would have liked to see AR Fox, Dante Martin have a few more minutes on their match, but what we got to see was such elite level high flying and agility moves. We saw the Varsity Blondes were all angry and they won their match in convincing fashion. Maybe we'll see maybe not a heel turn, but a more aggressive version of the Blondes, or maybe they will turn heel. We saw Kayla Rossi make her second ever match in a row, or in her career. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, I think it's been, we've seen her. So, but no character development. We didn't even hear from her manager, Diamond Sheik. But one of the weird things was the Angelo Parker winning in 17 seconds so that he can talk trash to Hook about winning faster than Hook did. The Julia Hart stuff is good to see. I like that Julia Hart's definitely getting better and better. I would like to see Vickie Dreamboat again as well. The Trustbusters still not very happy about Jeeves K. I can't believe VSK joined them. And we didn't get any more character development, nor did we hear from Sonny Kiss or anything like that. So nothing, like, it's not like you missed anything. The Kiera Hogan Mylo match was a pretty good match in the women's division. No complaints with that one. Thanks for coming, Dust de la Vega, aka Gino Medina, who lost in 17 seconds. And that Diamante Charlette match was a mess. Robyn really needs to work on not cheating when the referee's looking right at you when he can't kick you out because you're supposed to do something later. And then we started the night with the John Silver Serpentico match. That was just kind of a so-so match. So really, I can only recommend those 2 matches: Dante Martin, AR Fox, and the main event, Rush against Blake Christian. Not nearly enough. I would have liked to see a couple more interviews and stuff like that to break up these super short matches. But these darks are always usually still pretty entertaining because, like I said, it is basically the hour long weekly Taz and Excalibur podcast where they happen to have squash matches going on around in the background. So um looking ahead to a big Dynamite. It's only an hour away. I couldn't get this Dark review out until the next day, so it takes me a long time to write previews for like last week and this week. 14 matches last week, 13 matches this week, and I'm trying to write in-depth previews, so I basically have the most in-depth coverage of Dark and Elevation on the internet or in the world. So no complaints from me. It's sometimes I won't be able to get it out until the next day because of that fact. So um, we could maybe preview. Let's see a little preview of tonight. I mean, we're just about to start the big week-long celebration event of All Out, and it should be some great stuff on there. Um, I haven't checked all day, so there might be some new matches announced. Let me just check real quick and see what we've got. Any more matches announced for tonight? But yeah, we've got a live Dynamite tonight. We've got a live Rampage on Friday, and then All Out is Sunday, and it should be great. So let me see if we've got any more matches announced for tonight, which is all three of those events take place in Chicago in the same arena. So AEW is definitely setting up shop, and they'll be there for the duration. Let's see what we have on tonight's card. So what was already announced was Bryan Danielson takes on Jake Hager just a couple days before Bryan Danielson has to take on the Lionheart version of Chris Jericho. So I'm sure Bryan Danielson will be looking to get past this match quickly, but Jake Hager with his size advantage isn't going to be an easy pushover. We'll also see on Dynamite a big tag team match in the women's division with the unfortunate announcement of Thunder Rosa getting an injury. We will be naming an interim women's champion at All Out. The 4 women in that match will be in a tag team match as Hikaru Shida teams up with Toni Storm to take on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Those are the 4 women in the interim title match. I'm sure everyone's thinking it'll be Toni Storm to win that match, but I have no idea. You can't count out Britt Baker. Jamie Hayter's looked great, and she's probably the biggest woman in the match, and Hikaru Shida is a former champion as well. So any one of those 4 could walk out of um, All Out with the title. And another big match, I almost forgot that for the second straight week, we will have Will Ospreay and the United Empire. And holy crap, Will Ospreay will be in the ring with Kenny Omega. And that should be fireworks in that one as the Elite take on the United Empire in the semifinals of the Trios tournament. Winner goes on to the finals at All Out this Friday to take on the winner of Rampage. Remember, a live Rampage, so it should be a great Rampage as well. That will be the winner of Best Friends against Dark Order. So pretty much we've all been thinking it'll lead up to the Elite against Dark Order, where probably the Elite will turn heel. Maybe Hangman will turn heel with them. Maybe none of that'll happen. So we've got a lot to look forward to. But in the meantime, Omega and Ospreay are in the same building, are in the same match, and that will happen tonight on Dynamite. Should be amazing. Let me go check out the AEW Twitter to see if any late breaking matches have been announced, because that's only 3 matches, and we still do not know what the heck the main event of All Out is going to be. So that's probably something we'll find out tonight. Let me see if any more matches have been announced for tonight. Looks like Orange Cassidy has a new shirt. That's just a picture of himself. Not a bad shirt if you're an Orange Cassidy fan. Oh, here we go. So ahead of the Casino Ladder match, I forgot that there was going to be a Casino Ladder match at All Out. We've got an exciting quartet of the 8 competitors who will be in that tonight. So I don't even. There must have been a tweet earlier about the 8 competitors in the Casino Battle Royal. However, 4 of them I'm already looking here looks great. So it'll be in a 4-way match tonight. And 4 people that will be in the Casino Battle Royal tonight, it'll be Wheeler Yuta against Dante Martin, against Ray Phoenix, and against Rush. So, wow, is that going to be a great match? A good mix of high flying and technical abilities with Yuta in there as well. So, should be some good stuff. Let's see what the other 4. So, here's the Casino Battle Royal. It'll be those 4 that we just announced: Dante Martin, Ray Phoenix, Rush, and Wheeler Yuta. Joining them in the Casino Battle Royal will be Andrade El Idolo, Penta Obscuro, Claudio Castagnoli and a Joker. So there will be a Joker in the Casino ladder match. So there will be a surprise. We've got both the ROH World Champion and the ROH Pure Champion in that match, as well as La Facción Ingobernables and Lucha Brothers, who have been embroiled in a feud. Throw Dante Martin in there with well, after what we saw tonight, I almost wish it's AR Fox, but we should have a new name, maybe a debuting name for the Casino Battle Royal, or the Casino Ladder match, sorry, at All Out. So that's big news there. Another Sheeta shirt. This one looks really good. I would definitely buy that Sheeta shirt. Let's see if we can find out any more matches for tonight. A new Tony Storm shirt looks pretty good. Oh, here's the new rankings. So we've got the official rankings going in the week of All Out. The number one contender is CM Punk, and after just losing. So the number one and number two guys are the two former champions, CM Punk and Hangman Page is number two. That drops Powerhouse Hobbs to number three, since CM Punk wasn't in the rankings. He was a champion last week, and so was Moxley. So somebody had to fall into the rankings. So that means Jay Lethal is number four, and Darby Allin stays in the rankings at number five. In the women's division, not much has changed, but we do have Hikaru Shida up to number four, and Athena is number three. So we've got the four women in the world title match, with the number three ranked Athena taking on Jade Cargill in a TBS title match. Over in the tag division, FTR still number one with Swerve and Our Glory as champions, but the Acclaimed have moved up to number two, with the Young Bucks only being in trios matches. They've moved down to number three. Also only being in trios matches, number 10 and Evil Uno have moved down to four, and the Gun Club, or now as they're being called, the Guns, it looks like they're being called the Guns instead. So they're number five already in the top five. So that's big news there. We should have the first ever trios top five rankings a week from today. Let's see if we can find any other matches for tonight. So does not look like anything else has been announced, but that four-way match and the 7 people out of the 8 in the Casino ladder match have been announced, which is big news. So again, it'll be Claudio, Yuta, Penta, Phoenix, Rush, Andrade, and Dante Martin, along with a Joker. And then that'll be the Casino ladder match at All Out. Tonight, though, it'll be a four-way match: Wheeler Yuta, Dante Martin, Ray Phoenix, and Rush. So that'll be some great action there. That only brings us up to 4 matches for tonight. And I'm sure we'll probably, by the end of tonight, find out what the main event of All Out is. I'm pretty sure that'll happen. I'm sure we'll get a lot of talking segments with people setting up their matches, and probably another match announced during the card. I could see probably more than 4 matches, getting a 5th one on there. So I'm going to get going. It should be a great night, and I will be here as soon as Dynamite goes off the air with a live review. And hopefully we'll find out what the main event of All Out is, and just sit back and enjoy this episode as we start the week-long All Out celebration here in Chicago. Well, I'm not here, I'm in Detroit, so, but you know what I meant. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys again soon, and I'll talk to you in just a few hours after Dynamite goes off the air. So I'll talk to you then. Peace.